Hey! You are listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Got to take care of a few things before we jump into this week's episode. First, our Ramping Isometrics for BJJ program. It is a 12-week program, all laid out for you. It's going to help you build strength and cardio in the fastest, safest, and most convenient way possible. This is how James and I have been training for the past year, and we love it. So we put this program together so you can just follow along, and we are certain you will see and feel the benefits that we do. It's only $15. Just go to grumpyguybjj.com, click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll find it. Next, R3. This is our K2 D3 supplement. It is a combination of those two vitamins, D3 and K2. These are two vitamins that James and I have been taking for a long time that really help us recover from hard training sessions. And for only $15 with free shipping, you get a whole month supply. I was going to pull up some studies explaining the benefits of D3 and K2, but I'm not going to insult your intelligence and pretend to be a fucking scientist. I take it. It helps me recover. That's it. So for $15, check it out. And last but certainly not least, we have partnered up with Jiu-Jitsu.com. They have a ton of awesome BJJ instructionals, and they have hooked us up with a discount code for our listeners. It's Grumpy10. So what you got to do is you go to Jiu-Jitsu.com, which is DIGITSU.com. Find the instructionals you want, throw them in a shopping cart. In the little discount code box, you type in Grumpy10, which is just GRUMPY and the number 10, 10. That's it, no spaces. Boom, you get 10% off. You're up and running. They got a nice app you can download on your phone. That way you can take your instructionals right to the gym with you, watch the technique, drill it. It's a pretty sweet setup. So once again, DIGITSU.com. Discount code Grumpy10, GRUMPY10. Simple as that. To find all this stuff I just got done talking about, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com. Click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner. There, you'll subscribe to our newsletter for podcast updates. You'll find links for the Ramping Isos program, the R3 Recovery Supplement, and then under the Programs and Products tab, you'll find a link to Jiu-Jitsu.com. And let's be honest, if you guys can't figure out how to navigate a website by now, there's nothing I can do to help you. So quit fucking around, check it out, train hard, and let's get into this week's episode. Boom.
And we're back.
We are back.
Yes. So
we've out of the 40s into episode number 50.
This is it, huh?
Dangerously close to that 1 year mark.
Close, dude. Man. Yes. So
which is exciting.
It is exciting
for us, maybe not for everybody listening. But.
Tip of our coffee cups to episode number 50 here.
That's right.
So yeah, Rob and I were just discussing how he's back on the coffee train.
Well, this is my second cup of coffee this week, so I don't know if I'm.
How long did you take off?
I don't even know. It wasn't even like a planned thing. I think it ended up being month and a half or so, give or take, where I didn't have a cup of coffee.
Wow.
Just for the fucking thing. I just woke up. I was like, it's been fucking... I couldn't tell you the last morning I went without having a cup of coffee. I had just woken...
Right.
And so I was like, all right, no coffee this morning. So I went like a day without it. Then the next morning, I was like, man, I kind of need some fucking caffeine. So then I switched over to tea. I was drinking some green tea and some other tea and shit in the morning. And then I got hit with the fucking Ebola there a couple weeks back, and I nixed out the tea altogether just because I didn't know what was going on. And now I'm back on the caffeine.
So I'm telling you, so you cut out the coffee and then you got Ebola. Sick. I mean,
maybe it's
the
the coffee.
Change. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so, but I just want to
It could be.
I like to make big giant leaps between things like that.
That's what we do.
That's right.
We're not fucking scientists. We're not doctors.
It must be the coffee. I'm using it to justify why I keep drinking so much coffee. I'm like, look what happened to Rob when he tried to stop.
It fucked him up when he tried to stop.
To kill him, man. Like, all right, coffee, you win. I got it.
Maybe that's it. I mean, I can't say that it's not it. I mean, I'm leaning towards the side that it's not, but I can't prove to you beyond reasonable doubt that
your gut biome was like, yo, we need some caffeine.
Go back and get a venti Starbucks with 4 shots of espresso in there.
We're having trouble down here. We're falling asleep. But it was funny, we were talking, because you always come over and we start talking, and then we got to remind ourselves we need to go record before we start talking about too much shit. So we're about to talk. I hear about the Jordan Peterson talk you went to, but just by virtue of you being here, apparently you didn't go Khabib on a protester and end up in jail, which is good.
No protesters.
There were no protesters.
None. I wonder. Well, I did a little like clicking around for news articles prior to. Seeing if it was, there was people organizing. I didn't get on Facebook for like anti-Jordan Peterson pages. I'm sure they exist, but I looked for news articles, like searching everything from like Jordan Peterson, Colorado protest, about any combination of words I could try to find like a protest group, and I couldn't find anything. Man, there was no no articles, and it was raining pretty good that night. Yeah. Downtown Denver where we were at, so I'm sure. That doesn't do good for dreadlocks and patchouli oil.
I was gonna say, dude, there's so much weed smoking going on there now. Like, it probably has to like really tick them off to get them out. So, well, that's good. So how was the talk, man?
Dude, it was awesome. First of all, it was at the Paramount Theater in Denver. Have you ever been there? It's an old historic theater. It was built in like the 1930s. The place is beautiful, dude. It was a really cool place. It was very similar to. If you've never been there, I don't know why I'm even drawing this line. But anyways, I went to the Fox Theater a couple times back in Detroit, which is an old historic theater. Yeah. I actually went and saw B.B. King there one time.
All right.
But it's very similar, man. I mean, beautiful. Like, anyways, so it was a real cool setup, man. We had great seats. We were, I don't know, maybe 20 rows back from the stage. So we were pretty goddamn close. And he didn't have anybody open for him. I guess you call it a book tour. Like if you go to his website, he has it listed that Dave Rubin is going to open for all shows unless otherwise noted. And it happened to be in Denver. It said no Dave Rubin. So I was like, I wonder if he's going to bring anybody. And nope, didn't bring anybody. He just walked out on stage and fucking got into it.
So what's up?
Yeah, and man, watching that guy think... Because that's really what he's doing. Is he's just having... He has all these super complex thoughts, ideas running through his fucking brain. And that's how he sorts them out. I'm sure he does some writing and stuff, but he just talks. And you can literally see it. Like, because he'll take long pauses. Because he'll get himself... Like, he had these... Man, it was... Dude, I was concentrating so hard at one point, I think I was fucking drooling. Like, my jaw was on... Like, because he had all these parallel thoughts. He even said beforehand, he's like, basically is what I'm going to do here tonight is, he's like, we're going through the whole 12 rules. His book, The Antidote to Chaos, 12 Rules of Life. He's like, we're going to, in essence, cover all 12 of those. But he's like, I got this new shit I'm thinking about. He didn't say that. But he's like, and I got to build these... I got 3 different lines of thought, and I got to try to build them all up for you at the same time. And it was deep, and he's just fucking going off. And then he would just be connecting this and this, and he connected with shit that's going on nowadays. And like, dude, you're just sitting there watching this fucking mad. I think he's a little bit of a madman,
right?
Like when you see it in person, like the dude's off. wicked fucking smart, but.
Right. The light in his eye is just a little different when he gets into Rain Man mode.
Oh yeah, he's in Rain Man mode, and he is just fucking different. And you see him switch out of it. What's funny is, I'll get into some of it. I'm not going to try to regurgitate. Like, I'm still trying to process what he was talking about and some of his lines of thinking, but it was funny because you would see him switch in and out of it because you could see he's like a normal kind of a smart ass guy. Like how he did like the Q&A thing at the end. I don't know if you ever listened to any of his live talks. No. He recorded, like, he puts them on. He has a podcast, right? Yeah. The Jordan B. Peterson podcast, where a lot of his episodes are his talks that he does. He just records them live and puts them out there as an episode. Well, he used to, anyways. And he used to do like audience Q&As, and so he would have microphones set up in the aisles, and people would fucking line up and ask questions. He realized that turns into a shit show because you get a lot of these, like, I hate to be judgmental, but these pompous fucking arrogant assholes that get up there to like ask a question, but they got to like qualify how smart they are first, and they use way more words.
It's not a question. It's a
statement
disguised as a question.
Exactly. Yeah. Trying to prove how smart they are with a bunch of fucking big words. So he solved that problem by you had to submit your questions ahead of time online, and then he had a forum, and then people voted them to the top. Yeah. And so he would only pick like 5 questions that got all voted to the top. And the very first question was, what was it like to hit... I guess he went on an interview with these guys called H3 or something. I don't know who the fuck they are. But I guess they had this gigantic vape pen, this big fucking battery pack operated vape pen, and they talked him into hitting it. And that was the question that went to the top of the queue how was the vape pen? And you could see he laughed. He comes out because after he gets done talking, during the talk he's pacing back and forth on stage, doing a speech. But there's this like leather chair right in the middle of the stage. When the talk's done, he walks away. He comes back with his laptop and he just sits down in the chair chilling. And he pulls it up and he just starts shaking his head. He's like, my view of you guys as a crowd has completely changed. I have lost a lot of respect for you, or something like that. He's like, here's the number one question. What was it like to hit the gigantic vape pen? And so you see he kind of snaps back into like normal person mode.
Yeah.
But he put an interesting spin on that, because he's like, you could tell he's a thinker, man. He's like, I thought about this when they asked me this question. He's like, I've never hit a vape pen. I have no desire to hit a fucking vape pen. He's like, I don't know what it is. He's like, they didn't put drugs in it. It was just some flavored vape.
Right.
He's like, when they asked me to hit it, I started thinking, do I play along and just hit it because it's not going to kill me. I'm not going to get high from it. Or do I, stand my ground? So he had this whole like philosophical debate in his head about hitting this vape pen.
Jesus Christ,
dude, the dude,
he's a vape pen, brother.
Yeah, he thinks deep on everything. There's nothing that goes by in that guy's life that doesn't require some sort of extremely deep thought.
Right. So, yeah. Interesting.
It's very interesting.
So, any standout like kind of thoughts or anything like kind of that seemed different? What he's talking about now versus like what you took from the book, or I don't know.
Not so much different. I mean, he definitely had some, not extremely different. He definitely had some different takes on it. And there was a few things that really stood out. Like one, and again, he covered it in the book, but like he hit on it, and he kind of hit on it in some different viewpoints. Is like how, like, because if you really, I tried to kind of distill all of Jordan Peterson's shit down into something my brain can process. Because, like I said, dude, I would love to go to another one of his talks. I wish this was recorded so I could re-listen to it. Because there's no way I picked it all up. I was fucking drooling, man. There's no way. And I was trying, And
I was trying.
I was fucking trying, man. It wasn't for lack of effort, dude. And he was talking about how basically we all have to. You got to take care of your own shit. You got to keep your shit together. Because if you're a loser, for a lack of better terms.
No, dude. I know what you mean.
It ripples into everybody around you, man. It affects everybody around you. Like, for example, like say you're a lazy fuck at work. And I see this like what I do for a living. There's only like 18 of us that do that exact same job. So when you get some lazy fuck that doesn't do his job, it doesn't not need to be done.
All right.
Someone else just has to step up and do it.
Do it, right.
It's simple as that, and you see it front and center. So if you're that type of person that just tries to skip out on shit just because you don't want to spend an extra 10 minutes, well, guess what? You added 10 minutes to your buddy's day.
I know.
And so now either that guy, that could have a ripple effect because then he gets a little bit agitated and he's like, oh, this lazy fuck. And then he's a little bit agitated throughout the day. So then he goes home and he complains to his wife, his girlfriend, or maybe he doesn't complain to him. He's just kind of in a bad mood, and he does it. He's kind of short with his kids or his wife, and then they're a little bit on edge. And then you see it fucking ripples out, man. Yeah. Like you don't think something as simple as like not putting your equipment away or not putting your tool away, and expecting the next guy to do it. You think that it ends right there. Well, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your shit, man. Like. And that's really what a big part of his thought process is like, we're all in this together, man. We're all just one giant fucking organism. And if you don't take care of your shit, you're a burden on society. You're a burden to everybody else. And that's my kind of
No. Which is, I'm laughing because, man, that is the message that especially Shiloh right now, because she's 13. And, like, that's my message to her about why she needs the help around the house and, like, why she needs to not skip out on things. And it's like, the thing is, like, this message should be taught, and it used to be taught because it was a tribal thing and your survival fucking depended on it. But you're supposed to teach this to kids. Like, this is why you help around the house. Not because you're going to earn your allowance. Not because if you don't, I'm going to beat your ass. You know what I mean? Like, both those things may play into it, but that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it because you are learning how to contribute to, you know, a bigger thing. Like, this is how families work. Like, if you don't put that away and you leave that out, guess what? Someone still has to put it away. And then, you know, that's time and energy that they have to put out that they should be putting into something else. And like you said, now that adds to their stress kind of thing. And yeah, man, it's funny because you see that everywhere. Like, and the people, they don't realize like how it affects.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it has so many effects. Like, I really started thinking about this. It goes back just because it's so applicable to my life. Like, so say you don't put away your equipment or whatever it is, your tools, and somebody else has to spend 10, 15 minutes cleaning up after you. Okay, maybe they're an even-keeled person. Maybe they don't get agitated. Maybe they're just like, fuck it, I'll just do it, you know? Well, you know what, though? It still has an effect because now they're going to be getting home 10 or 15 minutes later. What if they're going to show up 10 or 15 minutes late to their kid's basketball game?
Right.
And then their kid's upset, like, oh, Dad's late again. Or so, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I know I'm stretching that out, like...
No.
But there's a cost.
Right.
There's a fucking cost to it. And it doesn't get taught.
Yeah.
And, it's such an important thing.
Well, even besides that, like, just being a fucking loser, like, just constantly... I run across these people. I remember I had this distinct moment with a girl that I was dating that I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, some people just attract drama, and it's not my fucking problem. And I don't need to be fucking tied up in it. Because it affects my life, right? And there's people out there, and I just have there's just always something going wrong. There's just always a problem, right? So there's always some disaster going on, and a lot of times it's fucking self-inflicted. And
most of the time
it's self-inflicted. And they don't understand that like their drama radiates out and affects other people. Like if you have a mother or father, like, it's going to affect them. Like, they're going to be thinking about you. They're going to be being, you know, anxious about your situation. Like, now there's negative energy that's in their lives because you're a fucking loser and you can't stop getting yourself into these situations and without realizing, like, man, my actions and my choices and all this shit, like, they affect other people than me. It's not just about me and like, oh, boo-hoo, you know, look at all this shit that's wrong with my life. It's like, man, fuck you. Look at how what you're doing is affecting everyone around you. And you're so caught up in your own little bullshit that, you know, that you don't even see that. And then you point it out and they don't want to fucking hear it. They're like, well, it shouldn't, that's their problem, you know? Well, why is it what I do affect them, you know? Like, and like, yes, theoretically, I understand in a perfect world, everybody would be able to just separate these things. But the reality is it's not how fucking human beings work. And, like, they're going to be affected by it.
And even us talking about it, like, we're aware of it. But that shit still affects us, too.
Oh, for sure.
You know, because how many times have you been driving down the road and you'll be having this fucking make-believe argument in your head with somebody you know?
Oh, I argue with people who aren't there all the time.
All the time. For no fucking reason. No reason. Like, well, if he said this, I would say this. And then I'll get like 10 minutes into this line of thinking. I'm like, what am I doing?
Why am I arguing?
With it? I've never even had this conversation. You know how many arguments I've had with you in my head over fucking shit with that? Over talked about? Never. You know what I mean? Like, we're all susceptible to it. And unless you are conscious of it, you just get wrapped up in that spiral of fucking negativity. Yeah. And
Yeah.
So, you know, he touched on that. You know, basically, don't be a loser, man. And
if you are, realize it's fucking your fault. There are patterns and things that you're doing that are bringing these fucking situations about. And until you see the world in a way that allows you to recognize that, like, nothing's gonna change. Like, that's a problem with these motherfuckers, is that they're all like, yeah, you know, some shit will hit the fan. They'll be like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm gonna change. And you know, maybe they do make an effort for a little while, but the difference is, like, they don't see the world any differently, right? Like, and so they're just doing what they think they need to do, not what they actually think is right, because they still see the world. They're still filtering the world the same fucking way. And until they change how they see reality, the same shit's gonna happen. You're gonna be a loser. Like, you're a loser because the way that you view and interact with reality is fucking off. And reality's letting you know it's off by the way, the feedback you're getting, and you're a fucking loser. So you gotta change that. So, anyways.
I know, dude. It gets you fired up when you start thinking about it.
It does, man.
Because we all have encountered those people. We all have people like that in our lives.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm dealing with one right now. I got a fucking family member I'm basically talking to right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah. It fucking pisses me off, like, the rippling effect that their bullshit has on everyone around them. And their just inability to understand that and appreciate it and, like, actually take responsibility for it. And it's just like, it's fucking maddening to watch somebody just be a loser their whole life and then just suck everyone around them into their drama. It's fucking horrible.
It is. It's maddening.
And most people are, like, unfortunately, you know, there's more people who are like that than aren't.
Yep.
And that's the problem. Like, we're always sympathizing with people instead of being like, look, man, like, that's your fucking problem and you need to figure out what you need to fix and fix it. It's like, you know, anyways. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, dude. Like, I feel the same. I get fired up thinking about it too. And he was talking about, you know, something to combat that, or, you know, something that's very important also for all of us is you have to have something to aspire to.
Yeah.
And you just have to. Because if you don't, you're just wandering around aimlessly. And then you fall into those loser categories. Because then you're just kind of a whim of the currents. You're like, oh, this drama's going on. I got to deal with this. This, you know, you're just reactionary. You're not driving towards anything. You're not trying to be better at jiu-jitsu. You're not trying to be whatever it is in your life. Better at work, better dad, whatever the fuck it is. You got to aspire to be better. And he was talking about how that's missed on a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're just going through the fucking motions, man. They don't have any aspirations to... They may have little aspirations or whims. Oh, you know, I'm going to lose 20 pounds or whatever. But they're very fleeting.
Yeah,
you know, they're very.
I'm going to get a raise at work. Or I'm going to get that corner office or some shit. But
they're fucked up aspirations,
right.
Like material. Like, I'm going to buy this. This will make me happy.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy this. This will make me happy. And then they realize, like,
that's not really an aspiration. That's like I don't know. Like, that's not.
But for a lot of people, it is an aspiration, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I would really define attainment of material goods as, like, an aspiration.
But
it's a goal.
It's a goal.
And it gets confused as an aspiration.
See, and this is where I'll disagree with you, because I think for some people it is, because the purchase of that thing, sometimes depending on what to purchase. Let's say it's a big fancy fucking car or a big fancy house.
Yeah.
They are aspiring to have people view them differently. Look at me, I'm successful.
Right.
I got some new fucking gold rims on my car. What do you got? I got this new fucking expensive watch. Look at my new shoes. They're aspiring to put this, you know, they want everybody to see them a certain way.
Right.
And they think these things are going to accomplish that. So they're, you know, I think for some people it is an aspiration.
Well, see, their aspiration is to be viewed differently, and their method towards achieving that is getting these things
flawed.
Now, it's flawed, right. So they have an aspiration, right? It's to be viewed differently,
right?
But the method that they're choosing to get there is flawed. Like, there's different paths to get there.
Correct.
And so, but that's where if you don't understand the difference, like, what is my aspiration? And I think, like, a part of that too is, like, being inspired, and part of that is, like, what role heroes fucking serve in our lives. And this is an age we don't have heroes. Like, we're kind of, you know, told that heroes are I don't know, like, they're just not what they were. Like, when we came up, it was just, I don't know, like, heroes were fucking really held up, and this was like, this is how you act, and this is who you are, and society's just in this big wishy-washy, like, you know, no one wants to take a stand, like, this is how I feel about something, and this is what I think is right, and this is what I think is wrong, and, you know, so we don't have heroes like we used to. And I mean, you see it in literature, you see it in television, and so without, like, an inspiration, like someone to say, like, to show you, like, man, I want to be like him. I'm aspiring, I'm inspired to be like him. And so, you know, like, without that, you don't realize, like, well, what am I trying to achieve, and what, you know, are there different paths to get it? and you look around and you just see people doing shit, and you're like, oh, well, buying stuff must be the way to do this because everybody else is buying stuff. And you don't realize, like, you know, what's your aspiration? You know, really figure that out. Like, you're just doing shit. So, and then they get confused with it. Like I said, it gets muddy, and that's how people get fucking caught up. They climb the wrong ladder and realize, like, oh shit, I'm at the top of the wrong ladder kind of thing, you know? How'd I get here? But, yeah, no, I think that's huge, man. I think the whole, because I see it, like the idea of aspiring to be like someone, you know, and that's what I think a lot of, you know, social media, when used correctly, is about inspiring people. And I think that's why people keep gravitating back towards it, despite all the toxic bullshit, despite all the fucking nonsense. And that's why I think people are gravitating more towards like Instagram than Facebook now, because Instagram, just its format, it's just not as it just seems to lend itself a little bit more towards these inspirational like pictures and videos and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that's it's all part of it, man. You gotta have some aspiration, and to do that you need to be inspired by people. But if you're not consciously doing it, then like you said, you're sitting on the couch and you're watching fucking network television. You're watching sitcoms. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of heroes do they have on sitcoms? I love Homer Simpson, but he's not my hero. I mean, in some ways,
he kind of could be.
There are some things that there's some lessons I've learned from Homer, but like, yeah, I don't necessarily, like, that's not the dude. He's not fucking Odysseus. You know what I mean? Like, Odysseus was a hero, and that's what he was propped up as, and that's why he played such a fucking huge role in you know, like, Greek society and stuff. Is like, these are the stories that we're telling our kids and our people to show them this is what you want to aspire to. This is what heroes do. Heroes don't fucking give up. Heroes do what they need to do. Heroes stay faithful to their fucking family and their cause and stuff. Like, these were things that, you know, I don't know, I think are missing, man. Like, the old time heroes and the shit that they, you know, there's definitely some flaws, some problems, you know. We don't want slaves and stuff like that.
And they're not perfect, you know. When we talk, I think, you know, he touched on this too, these archetypes.
Yeah.
It's so important to our society. And he talked about we're losing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought about this a lot too. Is like, okay, so why are we losing that? So then initially I start thinking, well, I think it's because due to the internet, social media and whatnot, things are a lot more transparent nowadays. So before this time, like, you would see your heroes, let's say, like when I was growing up, like your Isaiah Thomas or your Joe Dumars or something, right? These basketball, to me, they were heroes. And that's all you ever saw of them. You didn't see their flaws, or you didn't see they were humans.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they weren't posting. They weren't on fucking Instagram. They would show up. They would fucking work hard that game night, and that's what you saw. Win or lose, they'd put it all on the line, and they'd try their hardest. And so I think it was a little easier, you know, but now that everything's so transparent, people get a little bit lost. You know, they still have that. They want their heroes to be perfect, but even your heroes aren't going to be perfect.
Yeah,
they're gonna fuck up, man. But it's not about not ever fucking up.
But your heroes fuck up.
Your heroes are gonna fuck up.
That's the thing, though. Is like, so here's where I feel like, I don't know. This is just me. I came up and I just feel like when I was a kid, I was getting a heavy exposure to, like, the Greek myths. I was getting a fucking heavy exposure to, shit, man. What else was I? You know, I don't know. I feel like like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Like,
no, that can't be. I'm gonna stop you before you get deep into this thought process. What? How come? I'm curious as to how you were getting heavy exposure. Was this your old man exposing you to this?
No, I mean, it was like me. I think, like, I had a curiosity about it. So, like, I remember going and getting books and at the library and stuff like that. Like, I was just fascinated with it because they were like, they're fucking heroes. Like, what little kid? Like, I'm watching Z right now. Like, he's fascinated by heroes. Like, people who can, you know, I don't know. Heroes we're naturally drawn to them. And so I feel like there is a kind of in this homogenizing, I guess, of society. You know, like the a lot of the Western myths that we grew up with are being kind of whitewashed out, kind of like, you know, those are like, because you don't want to, how do I put it, like, we're trying to like not say like this is better than another thing, right? And so if we're like saying, if we're emphasizing the Greek myths in our society, we're saying like Greek society and Western society was best, and so, you know, we're trying to just make everybody fucking feel good about each other. So, you know, that's really more of our message to kids and stuff like that. So I don't know, I could be totally wrong. I feel like the emphasis on heroes and like the, you know, the classic heroes, and they had flaws and stuff like that to go along with the modern day heroes of, because if you're heroes and your only heroes that you have are like, you know, sports athletes and celebrities and stuff like that, like those people aren't fucking heroes. Not really. Not when you read, like you learn about real heroes, both you know, in myth and like people that actually lived and the shit that they did, and you're like, wow, that's a fucking hero. You know, athletes and celebrities aren't fucking heroes. So, you know, I don't know. I guess maybe as I think about it more, I might have just fucking found myself in the library grabbing books that other kids weren't reading. But I just grew up on that shit. And I just...
That's interesting because it's not a normal thing for kids to gravitate towards.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Because when I think back to like me being a kid, and, you know, I liked the hero stories, but they weren't like rooted in history. You know what I mean? Like I didn't give a fuck about that. Like I was like Chuck Norris. You know,
Chuck Norris, yeah.
These make believe heroes,
right?
You know that, you know, and shit like that, or you know, comic books,
right?
You know, these completely fictional heroes is where my mind goes. But
that's funny. Well,
see, then I start thinking about that. Like, is that bad? I mean, because there's still. It's still the archetype. It's still teaching lessons. You know, just because, you know, it's fictional, you know, is the lesson not lost? You know what I mean? Is it?
Well, they're you know, those classic heroes. You know, a lot of them are distilling wisdom. They're distilling messages that society. That society in particular, and that was one of the things that separated Greek society from a lot of other societies. Like when you read the book Natural Born Heroes, that was kind of one of the things, is like, what was it about Greek society and later Roman society that modeled itself a lot on Greek society that made them what they were? I mean, because they stood out singularly in their times. And one of the things was that it just seemed like the average person could pick up a fucking sword and shield and start fucking kicking ass, you know? Like they were a nation of heroes. And whereas a lot of other countries at the time, you had your peasant class and then you had your army, you know what I mean? There was this huge separation, but like you didn't fuck with Greece because like they were all fucking heroes on some level. And they there was something about their society. Like it didn't happen by accident. You know what I mean? Even like in that King of Kings podcast that Dan Carlin did, he mentioned that, like, you know, what was it about the Greek hoplites that made them what they were? Like, you couldn't just take Greek armor and shields and swords and put them on Persians and line them up in a fucking phalanx and call them like hoplites. Like what was it? There was something different about the Greeks themselves that made that successful, right? And so, and part of that was the myths and the stories that they grew up on. They were engineered over time to deliver the messages that needed to be delivered to have them attain, to get the mindset and the way of seeing the world around them that made the choices to be a hero fucking self-evident. Like, it wasn't a choice. Like, this is just what you do because this is what we do because we aspire to be like these people. And so, you know, I feel like that, you can definitely have modern day myths and heroes. I mean, Superman and Wolverine and all those guys are great, and they display a lot of the classic stuff. But I think that there's just, you know, there's just a lot of wisdom in those classics too that I don't know. We don't always know. You know what I mean? Like, we don't always understand it, like why some of these things are in there, and so we try to do better, right? Well, we'll create a new myth and a new hero that doesn't, have this element in it, but it's like, well, maybe there was something about this element that we don't realize was important. So it's like, still looking at that while also looking at the modern heroes, I think is the best way. But yeah, those classics are fucking great, man.
I don't know how it's taught nowadays in school, and how much they cover some of that stuff, but you would think that if they were to reframe it like that for kids and like make it exciting instead of just be like, okay, here's history class.
Yeah.
Here's this. Go read the Iliad and the Odyssey. We got a fucking book report due in 2 weeks.
Yeah, if you tell them this is the fucking hero's manual, dude.
Yeah,
this will tell you like how to act and
like this isn't just a piece of history who wants you guys to memorize dates and battles and names. Like you're missing the point if that's what you're coming after. Like,
yeah.
And I don't ever. I mean, maybe I wasn't paying attention, which is very feasible because I wasn't.
Nah, that's not what they teach you.
But that's not how that's framed.
No, you're tested on.
You're tested on just dates and names and
memorizing
shit. You're not tested on the message.
Yeah.
You're not. They don't care if you really learn the message. You're for most. I'm sure there's great teachers out there. I'm sure there's great teachers out there that do that.
That's not what when you're tested, right? When they're trying to get your scores. It's tough to measure that. You're measured in dates and names and facts. Like memorizing facts. Like that's what you're taught is memorize facts. Read this story so you can memorize the facts so that you can regurgitate them back to me when I ask you about it. But like you can just completely miss the fucking message. Like what was the point of the Odyssey?
You completely miss it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you just want to get an A on the test, so you just got to remember that date. And remember the name Homer.
That wasn't the point of those stories.
It wasn't.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's not what they were being. You weren't being tested on those things. You were listening to them and you were memorizing them. You were learning them because it was part of, who you wanted to be and imprinted it in a way to help you see the world in a way that just made you a hero. You were useful to your society, whatever it was called upon. Like you weren't a fucking drag on society, and. So
right back to where we just started. You can't be a fucking. Don't be a loser.
Right.
You can't be a drag in society.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like I really liked about that the book and kind of their message is like you can be an everyday hero. Like we use the word hero, and you got different levels of that, right? And so, but just if you just define a hero as someone who can, one, they're not a drag on society, and two, can step up and help their neighbor and help their community as needed. Whether it's, pitching in to help with whatever, man, from fighting the fucking neighboring tribe, which luckily we don't got to deal with today, to, helping pitch in for, farm work or whatever it was that you needed to do to help build something, whatever it is. Like someone could come to you and say, dude, can you help me with this? And you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I can do it, man. I can help you with that. No problem. If you define a hero as that, like someone who can just, be there to help the people around them, it's easy to be, not easy, but like you can be an everyday hero.
It really is. Like, if you, because I think
like that's my goal. Like I just want to be a fucking everyday hero.
Everyday
to my
hero.
Kids, to my community, to the people around me, and that's my goal. That's what I aspire to. Like when you talk about something to aspire to, like there's specific things within that, but my overall goal is just like I just want to fit that definition of a hero. Like that's what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
So,
I agree 100%. I think the word hero, people immediately think, oh, he's got to be running into a burning building to save a fucking baby. And maybe that is.
Hey, man,
maybe
you
that
get called on that, can you do that?
Can you do that? Maybe that is the case.
Right.
But day in and day out, the odds of you having to run into a burning building are pretty slim. But the odds of you seeing your neighbor struggling with something and run over there like, hey, let me give you a hand fucking picking that up. Or, whatever it is, like just paying attention to what's going on. And like at the end of the day, do you want, the people that you're surrounded by in your life, if you aspire just to have them say like, yeah, he's a stand-up fucking dude.
Yeah,
like he's gonna take care of his shit.
Yeah.
Like if we ask him to do something, or if we need help, or if he says he's gonna do something, he's gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
And then that's really what your modern, everyday hero is.
Right.
Someone just like, you live up to your word, and if you're gonna do something, you take the time to do it fucking right.
Yeah.
You don't half-ass it. That's. I think that's a lot of like what an everyday hero in my eyes would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it just goes back. Don't be a fucking loser, man.
Don't be a loser.
And go there. Just
understand that if you're a fucking fat ass, like you have a rippling effect on society around you. Like you're not a hero. Like not only are you not able to take care of yourself, but like you're actually dragging other things in society around you. So it's like, yeah, like that's the aspiration, man. Like just don't be a fucking loser.
And people like will disconnect that. I forget the statistic off the top of my head. I used to have it memorized because it was so staggering. But how much, like someone with, adult onset diabetes, what they used to call it, or type 2 diabetes, they don't call it adult onset anymore because so many kids have it.
Right, yeah.
But
it used to be juvenile and adult onset diabetes back in the day. That's
how now it's type 2, and it really just comes from poor diet and lifestyle choices. Simple as that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's not
almost 100%.
Let's not kid ourselves on that. And how much money that person costs the medical system on a yearly basis. I think, if I remember right, again, I'm just going to throw this out there. Dude, it's like $20,000 a year, like per person to take care of her. 10 or 15. Like, it's a good chunk of money that you're putting the burden on everybody else.
Yep.
Between $10,000 to $20,000 a year, just because.
But again, people don't understand, like, you're so disconnected from your neighbor. Like, you don't understand how insurance works, right?
Right.
Like, you think you're paying for health care. Like, this is one of those things, like, where they've done a really good job of changing the discussion. So, you think you're paying for health care. You're paying for insurance. And the way insurance works is the more that fucking insurance company pays out, the more they charge everyone.
Everyone. Yep.
So, like, that's how insurance works. And so that's why, like, forcing insurance companies to take on high risk, people that have high payments and stuff like that, like, hey man, that affects your insurance. Like, your insurance premium is going to go up. And also, if you are, like you said, like those people that are just goddamn just $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year in medical costs and subsidies for their pills, like, they're on 12 different medications to keep all their fucking shit. They got to take this for this, and this causes a side effect, so they got to take this for that side effect and this for that side effect, and next thing you know, they're taking 10 pills, and their insurance is paying for the majority of that. And yeah, dude, it's fucking so much money. And then, yeah, you're costing me money, you're costing your neighbor money, you're costing everyone around you money, and you're putting money in the pockets of the fucking last people on earth who need them, which is big pharma and those fucking greedy bastards. And so, yeah, you're just encouraging bad behavior with your fucking bad behavior. So
it's mad. And you see examples. Dude, I was at work the other day, and I got this. I've talked about this guy before. Pretty obese fucker. But he's one of those guys that claims he's fat and healthy, right? The whole new thing nowadays, you could be fat and healthy.
Yep.
Fuck off. Anyways, I'm not even going to get into that. But I guess he's going through some... Surprise, surprise, he's going through some medical shit. Like, he's having some blood pressure issues. But he's sitting there at the break table with a fucking extra large soda from McDonald's and his everyday McDonald's breakfast sitting in front of him, telling my boss about he's going to have to take this day off because the boss says, like, oh, how's your blood pressure thing going? I mean, it's important when we're driving fucking heavy vehicles down the road. You got to stay somewhat. You can't be passing out at the wheel, right?
It's helpful.
The society as a whole likes that.
Yeah, you're going to ripple effect.
When you don't run over somebody with an 18-wheeler, right? There's a very immediate ripple effect when you pass out at the wheel. He's sitting there explaining about how he's having problems with his blood pressure and he's trying to get it leveled out with his meds. And he's sucking on a fucking big soda. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. I just wanted to go off. But it's not the place. It's not the time. There's completely disconnected, dude. Yeah. Like, you don't understand. Like, and like, my mind is going crazy. Like, dude, you don't see the fucking connection right here. Look at what you're stuffing in your mouth. At the same time, you're having a conversation about your health not being good. Like, motherfucker, what is going on? I felt like I was living in some fucking alternate Twilight Zone. Like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this... Like, a sitcom writer couldn't write this just because it would be so absurd. Like, what am I watching right now? Like, this is fucking... it's infuriating sometimes, dude.
Dude, I know, man. You're just watching people just shoot themselves in the foot, and then want you to help them.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, my foot hurts. It's like, well, fucking stop shooting
yourself in the foot. Well, it's not my fault. The gun was pointing in the wrong way.
Or,
you know what I mean?
yeah. Or
like,
they just,
what?
Yeah, they just don't want to admit like that they have a gun.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. They're like they don't want to admit that like this thing really is dangerous. They just want to continue to view it in this innocent way, you know. And it's like, man, no, that's just not how fucking. Like you got a gun there, and you're hurting yourself. You're hurting people around you, and yeah, your actions have ripple effects. So
yeah, ripple effects, man.
Yeah, dude, that's funny, man. I know it's crazy when you think about how many people out there just drink soda on a daily basis.
Like it's their job, dude. Like it's their fucking job.
It's insane. Yeah. Yeah, it is. So, anyways.
I know.
Don't be a loser.
Don't be a loser. Yeah, he talked about all kinds of shit, man. There was another thing. I don't know if I understand it 100% enough to like dig into it. But we were talking about before the podcast how like we loved MacGyver as a kid.
Yes.
You know,
MacGyver.
And because I think as a kid, like it gets your brain going, and then you start playing in like these make believe worlds.
Yeah.
You know, like little kids will play house or whatever. You know, cops and robbers. You know, cowboys and Indians. You probably can't play that shit nowadays. It's racist or cultural appropriation or something. Who knows? But Jordan was talking about how he's seeing it. Like a lot of these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids are going through this fragility and they're just because they're not playing make-believe anymore. He's like, it's so important when you see your kids playing make-believe. Like, unless they're doing something super disturbing or fucked up, don't interrupt them. Yeah. They're building these connections and these neurons. Like, let them have at it, man. Like, if they're playing dad, they're playing their representation of you, what they see a dad being, or whatever the case may be. He's like, but that's not happening anymore because we have this constant input. You know, the kids always have screens in front of them. Like there's never a time where they're disconnected to where they got to fucking have fun by themselves. They need something else to tell them what to do to have fun. And he's like, we're starting to see that effect. And he expounded on it. Like I was trying to wrap my mind around how he was connecting all these things, but he said it's a huge problem. He's seeing it manifest itself. Yeah. And in that age, you know, frame, 18, 19, 20, 21.
I can totally see that, man. Yeah.
It's interesting to think about.
Yeah. That's another one. Like, I guess just like how many, it is crazy to think how many adults drink soda every day. It's crazy to think how many kids, you know, and I don't even know what age you want to define a kid as, but just like, even like, you know, like fucking just 14 years or younger, 13 years and younger, even like 10 years and younger, are like have phones or their own tablets, and they spend an obscene amount of time on screen time, and then the parents get them quote unquote educational apps and, you know, stuff for them to play with, and so no, this isn't bad screen time, this is little Johnny getting ready for kindergarten, or, you know, working on his ABCs, or this is educational for him. And so they're able to rationalize like why. But yeah, man, without that like not having that constant input. I mean, that's another one I think about a lot, man. Like I spend a shit ton of time by myself too, just like imagining shit with my G.I. Joes and my Star Wars characters, and I had whole little fucking worlds and things going on, and I see that with Z. He'll get into that. You know, it's interesting. Shiloh was never as into that because she always read and drew, and so. But I'm always trying to encourage her to like be bored, because that's the tough thing. Like, you think you're gonna be bored, right? But it's like your brain is gonna do something, man. It's not just like boredom forces your brain to start thinking about something, and then you just let it run down some fucking road and imagining shit, and just make sure you're not arguing with someone who's not there. Like, that's the problem. Like, a lot of people use their imagination for that, not like, you know, playing or whatever. So yeah, dude, it's funny. Yeah, that he's talking about that, because I can totally see that. It baffles me, man. I mean, man, you see it. It's fucking funny, man. Like, we walk into there's that TV in the kids' room in jiu-jitsu, and you walk in there sometimes, and, you know, the TV's on, and like all the kids are just like, oh, I mean, just like slack jawed, fucking eyes, just like, wah. I'm just like, oh my God, this is fucking horrible. You know, because TV is such a good babysitter. That's the problem, man. Like, really, when you boil it down, like,
it works.
Screen time is a great babysitter. It works. And it's easy. Like, modern parents, they're so fucking busy, you know, and so it's easy for them to just be like, here, watch this, or
quit
play
bothering
with this,
me. I got to take
quit
care of this.
bothering me, right? And like I said, then they do shit to make themselves feel better about it. Like, oh, I'm investing in this educational stuff and whatever. They're just rationalizing in a way to make themselves feel better. But yeah, the net result is it's just an insane amount of screen time for everyone. And so yeah,
man, you don't realize how much screen time we all have. Like, I mean, for example, the new iOS update on iPhones, they have this thing, I forget what it's called right off the top of my head, but they have it set up, I have it set up to where every Sunday it gives me a update of how many times I picked up my phone.
oh no,
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
No, you don't want to know. It tells you, it breaks it down for you, like how many times you checked your phone, how much time you spent like with it, you know, unlocked, you know, so screen time. Mm-hmm. I think there's a couple other metrics it measures. I mean, I don't know how it all works, how accurate it is.
Measure that for you. That seems like
It seems like,
you're just like, hey, like,
hey, how do we not sell as many iPhones?
right? You want to
Here,
see just how addictive we are, how bad we are.
But
Here
they do.
it is.
They got it on there now.
Yeah.
It's a new update, and it's only been, I've only had it on my phone for like the past couple weeks, but it's interesting, man. Like it makes you conscious of it because like now I see it as a game. Like, so when that alert pops up on my phone on Sundays, like I'm okay, did I have decreased? Like it'll tell you, oh, you had, you know, 45 minutes less screen time this week, and then here, check your stats. I'm like, yes, I didn't stare at it. So then I spend a half hour staring at my stats.
You just get quicker at staring at shit.
Yeah, you get more efficient at it. quick.
Yeah,
Okay, set it down.
right,
But it's, yeah, dude, when you see that, like how many hours you have a week just looking at your phone.
I know.
Whew.
Dude, it's tough, man.
Dude, it's so useful.
Yeah.
There's so much shit you do on there.
Yeah.
I understand. You know,
I'm conscious of it, though.
Yeah, being conscious of it's the.
I think for kids, man, it's terrible. I think that there's shit that it's just like anything else, man. Adults, like, we're expendable on some level. Like we have to do shit that is not going to be good for us because we're trying to fucking keep society running and keep it going for our kids that are coming up. Like, the kids are the fucking most important thing. It's like, how are they coming up? Because if we don't do our job correctly, like, the next generation taking over this whole fucking thing is going to be fucked up. And so there's a lot of things, like alcohol, right? Like, we don't let kids just fucking get drunk. You drive cars. I mean, you know, obviously society recognizes. I don't know. We've talked about it before, man. I think, like, this is the first generation that's going to pay the price, like the sugar generation, like our generation of like, hey, here, just put sugar on the table, we just eat it all the time, they're just kids. It's like, oh, wait a minute, there's consequences to that.
Yep.
And this generation's paying those fucking consequences, like the current one. That's why the type 2 diabetes and shit and all this is going through the roof. Same thing with the technology, man. Like, we are fucking our kids up with it. Again, like my dude Shiloh, she's 13. You know, she still doesn't have Instagram and Facebook, and she is, I mean, probably her only one of her friends. Like, she maybe have like a couple other friends that don't. Like, she is the minority. And by this point, I mean, a lot of her, you know, friends are on there and just, you know, they're talking to her about shit that they saw. And I'm just like, dude, how are you as a parent just letting your kid have free reign, free access to Instagram and Facebook and YouTube? And I don't know, man. It's like, it's crazy.
Well,
Fucking
to
insane.
me, it is crazy because I see. That's why I don't have a personal Instagram. I deleted my Facebook. I don't have fucking Twitter because the negative aspects of it way outweigh the positive in my eyes. For me, in my life personally, like, I understand. Like, I have a slightly addictive personality, let's say. You know, like, I know this about myself. I'm conscious of it. Like, it's hard for me to do something just 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, if I'm gonna fucking do it, I do it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
And so that shit sucks me in, dude. Like
I know.
And I see this. I see this in myself. I saw how much time it was wasting, and it was not. There's some value it's adding to my life, but very little. And so I got rid of that shit. But see, I think the reason a lot of parents will let their kids, younger kids, have it is because they're not recognizing the negative aspects it's having on their life, so they don't think it's going to have negative.
Right.
They're just not seeing it because maybe it's not. You know,
or even if they are, they don't understand. Like, dude, kids are different. There's a reason we don't let kids drive cars.
Right.
There's a reason you know what I mean? Like, this is, you basically put a gun in their hands, and we're all just hoping it's just Russian roulette, man. Yep. I mean, how many fucking kids have posted shit that they shouldn't have posted? Have gotten them in trouble, or they're like, you know, man, I'm gonna regret this for a long time. Like, this does not go away. Like, that's the thing I try to explain to Shiloh is like, man, there's permanency to your actions with the internet and social media that we just didn't have when we were growing up, man. Nope. You could do some stupid fucking shit.
No one would ever know.
And it was pretty limited, man. Yeah, no one would ever know. And, you know, now it's just not the same thing. And kids they literally don't have their brain isn't formed enough to make, like, fully rational decisions. And so you're putting this thing in their hands that they can make a really bad decision that affects them for, you know, could be the rest of their lives on some level. They're not able to form rational decisions. And it's like it's a fucking disaster just waiting to happen. And I think that it happens like way more than we know, as far as like kids just making mistakes, as far as like either seeing something that affects them in a way that like, oh shit, like whatever it is, right? Like, dude, I don't want to see they could post some fucking gnarly shit on social media and YouTube.
Yeah, you type in the wrong search term and you don't know what's going to pop up.
All of a sudden, boom, or just, you know, whatever it is. And so it's, I think that parents and adults just don't understand how dangerous those things are in the wrong hands. So, I mean, for me, I agree, man. I think that you can definitely waste time on it. I kind of look at it like I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. I almost spend no time on Facebook. Like, I've got some business pages there, and like most of the time there, I'm just like interacting with customers or fans or whatever, people there. Like, I don't really because there's a plugin that you can put on your Chrome browser that'll kill the news feed on Facebook. So you can go to Facebook and the news feed won't pop up. And so you don't.
That saves you. You're not tempted just to keep scrolling.
Just keep scrolling and looking at shit. And so, yeah, that's like my main interaction there. But like I said, like Instagram is funny. It sounds corny, but I've kind of started like trying to look at it like, fuck, dude. Again, it sounds corny saying, but like inspiration gram, like, cause I am like if I look at it, like I'm trying to find things, you know, inspirational things. Like that's what I'm there looking for. I'm not there looking. Either neutral, right? So I'm either like not just there like and just kind of whatever filters through, or they're looking for some negative shit that is like, oh, I can post a comment on this or argue with someone about this. Like, so when I go there and I have the intention of like, okay, I want to see something to be inspired, and then it's like, okay, you know, and also who you're following plays a role in that, but. That's why I think like Instagram, out of all of the social media platforms out there, like it has like the most potential to do what I think social media, like why people like it. Like I think it's that inspiration aspect. Like it's not the other shit, man. Like no one.
That's the problem. Is you gotta dig through the piles of shit to find those little nuggets of gold.
Yeah,
and they're there. Yeah, and I use Yeah, I think if you go in with the right intention, like you're saying, it can be very useful. The negative shit outweighs the positive, and the time you got to spend sorting through it for me is just, I accomplish that task like by listening to podcasts. I mean, I spend so much time behind the wheel in the truck by myself. I got hours. I can spend hours a day listening to things, so I choose to get like my inspiration from there. I try to listen to interviews or talks from. You know, very successful, inspirational people. So it's kind of the same thing.
There's a lot of difference.
I'm curating what's going into what my input is.
Yeah.
As opposed, but see, if I didn't have that time every day to try to better myself through that or find inspiration through that. And, you know, I could see myself wanting to, like, use some social media to find that. Because, like we talked about at the beginning with your heroes, you need something to aspire to. So you kind of need a lighthouse out on the out on the shore to aim for. You know, you need that beacon of light to aim for, and you got to look around for it. You know, you got to read those old stories, you know, or, you know, listen to interviews, podcasts. You got to find that inspiration to keep you going in the right direction, because it's so easy to get derailed.
It is,
and
man.
Stuck in your own shit and just woe is me. This is, and then next thing you know, you're just putting out fires, dealing with this. You're just fucking going through the motions. You're not bettering yourself, and you got to redirect sometimes. You need that little inspiration.
Yeah. Find someone that inspires you to do that. It's it's an important thing, man, to have that beacon. I think about this a lot, man, because I mean, we've been at our journey for a while, you know, like fitness and just life and stuff like that. Again, we're working hard at it, right? Like, we don't got it all figured out, but, you know, we've figured a few things out along the way, and we have, you know, I'm gonna assume that you probably had, you know, people that inspired you along the way, especially early on, as far as like how to do this, and you were trying to emulate them or follow their advice and their approach. And it's kind of like the curse of knowledge, man. Like, you get down the road a little bit, and sometimes you forget, like, the what it's like to not have that. You know, like to be at those first steps and be like, man, I don't even know what to do, and then getting that beacon of light, like you said, and like, you know, finding someone who inspires you, and you're like, man, I connect with this person, and I connect with their story, and I want to. You know, if they can do it, I can do it, and I want to be like them. Man, I mean, that's honestly, like, all of us, like, that's what we naturally look for that. And I think that, you know, a lot of communication mediums, whether it's oral or written or, you know, the fucking internet or whatever it is, like, at the heart of it, man, I think that's what people really are fucking looking for from those, are things to inspire them and be that beacon of light. And, you know, we fuck it up by trying to sell women's underwear and shit through it. Dude, I wonder if back in the day when they fucking inserted commercials, they'd have, like, you know, some orator telling the Iliad, and then be like, and we have to take a break now, and this break is sponsored by, you know,
Wheat,
yes, the new corn.
Oh, gosh.
Try it now. Down at the local market. So, but anyways, yeah, man, dude, it is such an important thing. We don't think about it.
We don't, you know, and as you were saying that, I was thinking about, I remember when I first started getting serious with, like, lifting, like, kind of fresh out of high school, 18, 19 years old. You know, I had a membership at the Powerhouse Gym in Flint. And, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, man. I'm just reading the magazines, trying to lift and get stronger and bigger. And I don't really know. And I would see some guy in the gym, because you start going to the gym at the same time every day.
Yeah.
You have people have their schedules. You see the same people. And I remember, like, I was, like, wanting to learn so bad. Like, dude, I would see some dude that was big and fucking strong. Dude, I'd go talk to him and be like, hey, man, I see you fucking doing this. Like, you got any suggestions? I remember just bugging people all the time in the gym. Some people were super fucking helpful.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, that's really cool. Let me show you what exercise I like to do, or this or that. Like, some people were kind of dicks.
Yeah.
But I remember doing that all the time. Like, I'd see some dude, like, all right, that dude looks fucking good. Like, he's jacked. What's he doing? So then I'd watch. And then I'd watch for a while before I'd approach somebody and be like, oh, well, this guy kind of looks like a fucking meathead. I don't know. He's doing some dangerous shit. This does not look safe. And then I'd pick somebody else. Oh, like, this guy, like, he looks like he's really conscious about what he's doing. Like, let's go. I remember there was this older black dude, man. He was fucking jacked. I think at the time he had to have been like 50s. You know, I'm 18, 19 years old, and this dude was fucking ripped. And, like, older dude, I remember bald, but he still had some gray hair. And I ended up being buddies with him, because I'd go talk to him, ask him, and he was always super friendly, man, giving me tips and advice. I remember one time I thought it was so funny. He's like, I gotta try to start getting smaller, man. All these fucking muscles are fucking up my bowling. He was on a bowling. he was on a bowling league. He's like, yeah, just I don't have the fucking mobility. I keep fucking my bowling up. He's like, I gotta shrink down a little bit. I remember fucking laughing my ass off at that.
That's funny.
But yeah, I remember that. Like, that's because we didn't have social media back then. You couldn't just Google, you know, chest workout, arms workout, and find fucking 400 different things.
Yeah.
You just have to go talk to people, man, and try shit. And
yeah.
It was a whole process, man.
Yeah, I had to find your inspiration.
You did.
Somewhere,
You were finding your inspiration from somewhere.
Fucking Muscle and Fitness magazine or Flex or whatever it was, and
Yep.
you're looking at fucking Ronnie Coleman and Flex Wheeler and all those dudes, be like, I want to look like that, and then
Flex
then you find
Wheeler
out.
still to this day, dude. That guy, man, he's something else. Like, I was actually listening to an interview. He was on a podcast not too long ago. I listened to an interview. Fucking interesting dude, man. Like, way smarter than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and he used to be a cop and all the shit he went through and got to where he is. Like, it's pretty fucking cool. Because I still, I remember reading about those guys.
Oh yeah,
in all
man.
those magazines, man.
Those were some of my heroes coming up, man. I wanted to be bigger, and because back in the day, like working out, that was bodybuilding.
Yeah, bodybuilding. That's there wasn't this functional fitness.
Yeah.
I don't even remember hearing that term.
No.
Back then.
No,
I don't
it
even
didn't
think it
exist.
fucking existed.
No, everything was fucking bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember that was for me went to the GNC. I can still see it. It is hilarious how you have like certain moments in your life that are just cemented in your head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I went to the GNC. I was gonna get the magazines, my Muscle and Fitness or whatever, and I saw this one, Muscle Media 2000, and it had a hot chick on the front, but it just looked a little different. It had like some different headlines and stuff, and I picked it up and I started looking through it, and like they were the first ones who were like you guys know all those pro bodybuilders are taking steroids, right? And like that the Mega Mass 2000 is just a bunch of fucking sugar that you're pumping in your body, right? Like you don't want to be doing that. And they were like talking about like Mike Mincer was one of the guys writing for him at the time, and so like one set to failure. So what the fuck is this crazy shit? And they were basically like, man, you can't work out like that. You can't train like a bodybuilder because those fucking guys are all on steroids. Because Joe Weider originally was like, no, they're all natural. Everybody's all natural, man. We test them. It's the Weider principles that are making them this fucking big. And Mega Mass 2000 and Borax and shit, Boron or whatever they were fucking, whatever pill they were selling us at the time. And so, yeah, dude, that was, I remember that fucking magazine. That was one of those beacons for me. Like, and it's funny because like Bill Phillips, like at one time Bill Phillips was my hero. Like he had me inspired, like the magazine that he'd put together and the people, and then like, his message and him. And at one point, dude, that dude had he probably had an army of dudes out there who would have taken a bullet for him. And then he decided to turn his back on all of us for fucking soccer moms and his body for life bullshit. But yeah, that was one of those, when you talk about like just kind of early working out, just influences. It can be people, it can be, magazine or whatever. Like that was our version of social media back in the day was that. But yeah, dude, those fucking early inspirations and people, and you think like, God, what would have happened if I hadn't run into them? Or if that moment hadn't happened, like, because that really was a defining moment on like how I viewed training and like led me down the path like that I don't know that I would be where I'm at today if I hadn't come across Muscle Media 2000. I don't know what the fuck I would have done.
Yeah, as you're talking about that, like I have some very distinct, memorable moments that have like led me to where I'm at in jiu-jitsu and fitness. Like, so I was working out at Powerhouse, just trying to get big and strong. I was always a fan of martial arts and whatnot, and I think at the time I had gotten back into like hop keto, and this guy said he was teaching me judo, whatever. I talked about all that shit. But I remember I was at Powerhouse lifting weights, and I seen some dude with a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu shirt on. I was like, hey, that shit, I remember seeing videos of that. That looks fucking good. I went and talked to the guy. He said, hey, go out to this address. It was like 45 minutes from my house. There's a guy out there teaching on it. So that was like pivotal. That's what started my jiu-jitsu journey. So I went out there, boom, found jiu-jitsu, started doing that. At the time I was like 180, 185 pounds fucking lifting, like biggest I had ever gotten. Like, and I got on the mat, and there's this 14-year-old kid that fucking whooped my ass, dude. His name is Miles Jury. He's in the UFC now. I mean, he was just a 14-year-old kid, wrestled in high school, doing jiu-jitsu, like fucking took my lunch. I was like, what just happened? All these muscles are completely fucking useless. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought I did. So right there, that was a huge pivotal moment. I was like, that's it. Done lifting weights. Got to do fucking jiu-jitsu. And so I just became obsessed. Every fucking minute I had, if I wasn't at work, I was at fucking jiu-jitsu. Stopped lifting weights altogether. And then I remember this guy came in. His name was Ken, and he was into kettlebells. I'm like, what the fuck are kettlebells? So then he started showing me. He's like, yeah, this is, that's where I kind of got introduced to like functional fitness. I'm like, wow, fuck yeah, I can still lift weights.
Right.
Because it's fun, and I can get better at jiu-jitsu, and so then that's when I got introduced to Steve Cotter. I went to my first Steve Cotter seminar, and I think it cost like $25.
Yeah.
For like an 8-hour seminar. And yeah, and that's, just what got me to where I'm at now. Those few things, just seeing a dude with a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu shirt on at a fucking powerhouse gym and just getting my ass whooped by a 14-year-old.
Right.
And finding kettlebells. It's just what sent me down that path, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, man. When you look back, there's definitely a lot of pivotal moments.
There is, yep.
So, I know. I bought my first mountain bike just to commute to work because I thought road bikes looked weenie. So,
next thing you know, you're mountain bike
James.
James.
Next thing I know, I'm Bike James, man. Yeah, just fucking riding that thing all the time. So, yeah, another, yeah, if I hadn't... and it's funny, I remember I was driving my car, listening to the radio in Santa Barbara, and a commercial came on for a local bike shop saying that he'd gotten an extra, basically he had like a special on a bike because he'd gotten an extra one in and he needed to, just sell it. And I was sitting there and I'd been thinking about getting a bike to commute to work, and I was like, all right, well, this must be the universe telling you to go buy this bike. And yeah, went in there and ended up getting another bike other than the one that was like advertised. But that was it, man. I still remember sitting in my little Mazda 323 driving down the fucking road in Santa Barbara, listening to the radio, going like, all right, well, that must be the sign. It's time for me to get a bike. And fucking here I am.
And now we poo-poo commercials all the time.
18 years later.
And that's what fucking changed your life. Was a commercial.
Dude, commercials aren't bad. I don't hate all commercials. Just most of them. Most of them. The problem with commercials, is when they're untargeted, right? Because, that commercial was for me. I told you before, I think I actually like Facebook less now that they have all this privacy bullshit in place. I liked going to Facebook and being advertised to. That was what I liked to go to Facebook to, because they could target. I would see
they knew
things,
what you were interested in.
Yes, things that were targeted to a 40-plus-year-old dude who's into jiu-jitsu and strength training, and, so I could go there and be targeted and, not have to, read ads for bullshit that has nothing to fucking do with me, or, be watching TV and have to watch that or radio, that's what I hate about advertising is it's just this shotgun approach. But good advertising, it's just telling you hey man, do you have a problem? If you're doing this, you may have a problem. And if you have a problem, here's a potential solution to it. That's all marketing is when you boil it down. Some people can do it in a very sleazy way, but you're really just saying, hey, if you have a problem, here's a potential solution to that problem. So I want to know what potential solutions there are to my problems, but I can't find out if you can't fucking target me, because everybody else out there is I don't even know. It's fucking you morons. You guys post half-naked pictures of yourself to get 1 million likes, and then you are oh, my privacy. It's what fucking privacy? Anyways. Assholes.
Assholes.
Took away my fucking... Yeah, my fun with Facebook, so they could just see more of their friends bitching about shit. It's I want more advertisements, less friends.
There was a guilty pleasure I would have with Facebook. When I was on it, every once in a while, I always felt like I was the ruler of my kingdom, and I would go through and just start beheading people. Just
so you'd be bored to start.
I'd just start unfriending fucking people.
I
haven't talked to this guy in forever. Unfriend.
Wait till he wakes up tomorrow and sees his friend count went down by 1.
I would do that shit just randomly. There was something liberating about it. Yes.
That is funny,
I just
man.
cleaned out my kingdom through bullshit.
Dude, you're a tyrant.
Yeah.
You got your little tyrant streak. So it's good. It's good to get it out on Facebook, though. So
maybe I'll do that again.
Yeah.
Re-sign up for Facebook, collect as many friends as I can, and just start unfriending them.
Post half-naked pictures of yourself.
And then unfriend them.
We're just at such an unfair advantage, man. I don't know how two guys like us are supposed to build a following on Facebook. We got we just don't have, or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I really fall into the quote unquote handsome figure model of. That's why we do this as an audio podcast.
That's true. We've got a fucking face for radio.
It's better that way.
I know, man. It's tough to post half naked booty shots of ourselves, and
maybe. Well, we haven't really tried it. Maybe that's the missing link.
I'd be afraid to find out who's liking it. I think that would just cause things to crawl out of the woodwork that we just don't want to know about. So
yeah, I don't think I want to go down that road.
So, anyways,
you want to call that a wrap? We got a seminar today. We got to teach class.
What time is it?
Almost 10.
Is it 10?
Yeah, close to.
Yeah, man. Well, hold on real quick.
You got some shit you want to talk about?
I got two things.
All right.
Two things. Well, one, did you hear that EBI is changing format?
No.
Apparently, Eddie's getting rid of the submission-only format for men. Still going to do it for the women, but it's going to all be combat jiu-jitsu, and he's talking about doing team stuff like quintet style.
I like the team.
I
think that's stupid that he's switching it all to combat jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I don't...
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think combat jiu-jitsu has its place, but I don't think replacing... No. I like the fucking EBI format.
I like the EBI format. I like the straight jiu-jitsu portion of it. I don't mind the combat jiu-jitsu, and I definitely understand the benefits of it, you know, especially from just like a self-defense aspect.
Yeah.
But it's like, to me, it's like a watered-down version of MMA. Like, I would rather just watch pure jiu-jitsu or the UFC.
I gotta be
I'm not a big fan of the in-between.
I wouldn't pay for combat jiu-jitsu.
No.
Right? Because I think they had the only reason I watched the last one is because it was on Fight Pass.
Right.
Which, you know, the EBI tournament. So I'll watch it just because I'm like, you know, or whatever, just because it's jiu-jitsu-esque. But yeah, I agree, man. I'd rather watch MMA or like the quintet, like jiu-jitsu.
Team style jiu-jitsu, for me, that's the most entertaining.
Yeah. So I don't know. Combat jiu-jitsu is an interesting thing. I think it just needs to be its own thing. It's not jiu-jitsu. It's not MMA. It is just kind of this.
It's kind of like Pancrase.
Yeah.
Similar to those style rules a little bit. You know, I don't know.
I mean, again, you got to remember that his intention was to create a format that served as some sort of like bridge between, jiu-jitsu and MMA.
Right.
And so, you know, the intention is more for the athletes. And, you know, I guess you're going to have a more limited audience based on that. But anyways, I don't know. I hope he does the team stuff.
I hope he does the team stuff.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
But anyway, saw that. And then, so dude, just Khabib and fucking that whole scene was crazy. So you've seen he's threatening to leave the UFC now?
Yep. Because his teammate that jumped in the cage and socked Conor got pulled from the fight because he was supposed to fight this weekend or next UFC. And so
they're just kicking him out of the UFC.
Yeah, and Khabib said, like, well, if you kick him out, I'm out. Well, you know, but that got put out before the whole fight even went down. Before Josh Thompson, Khabib's coach at AKA, had put the public statement out there that said Khabib's intentions are to whoop the shit out of the UFC's poster boy and Conor and retire. He made that. He said it. Like, his coach said that. So whether he's going to do that or not, I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, he beat the fuck out of Conor. That made me so happy.
Me too, man.
Made me so fucking happy, man.
Yeah.
Bottom line, Khabib's fighting style is just superior to Conor's.
Yeah.
It's 100%. And he's going to, in my opinion, he's going to beat Conor 10 out of 10 times. You throw him in the fucking cage 10 times, Conor's never going to close that grappling gap.
No.
He's going to whoop his ass 10 out of 10 times.
The only thing you can hope is he catches him with that left hand.
And
you know, it's funny. I'll say, like, you remember... He was just like, Khabib was standing in front of Conor. I remember, like, at one point, you know, Joe was like, he's just standing there. Like, this is crazy. But if you watch, dude, he was staring at that left hand. Like, that was it. That he knew. He's like, that's it. That's all that motherfucker's got.
That's the only thing he's going to take me out with.
The only thing he's got. And I just need to be hyper aware of that fucking left hand. And as long as he doesn't catch me with that, he has no chance. And so... Yeah, it was interesting because his stand-up was... It took me a second to catch on. Like, that's why he's almost static. He's not moving a lot because he's not boxing Conor. He's boxing that left hand. Yep. And so he didn't give a fuck about the rest of Conor's weapons. And so, anyways, yeah, I agree with you, man.
Hey, I love the fact that he just mentally broke Conor. Did you see that clip that got put out from the mic in the cage? At the end, I think it was at the end of round 2 or 3, the round ended, and Conor said to him, "Hey, it was just business." He, because his shit talking is business. Conor found a hack to the system.
Yeah.
He's a prize fighter. The goal being a prize fighter is to make as much money as fucking possible, getting in the ring and fighting, getting in the cage and fighting. He found that loophole. He found the system. Like, he talks shit. He's the highest paid fighter. Either people hate him or they love him. There's no in between. So he found it.
Yeah.
And so he said that when he realized like Khabib had his number. And he told him it was just business.
Well, it was round 2 where Khabib was like, I remember they were saying like Khabib was talking to him.
Yeah, and so I think it was the end of round 2.
Yeah,
they separated, and you could hear Conor saying it's just business.
Yeah, because Khabib was letting him know this isn't business.
This isn't business, motherfucker. This is real deal.
Yeah,
and to me, I've thought a lot about this, man. I'm done with the Conor show. To me, I equate a Conor to the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
We've seen the very first Fast and Furious movie came out. It was a cool, exciting movie. You had all fast cars, hot women, action scenes, cool. And then they made Fast and Furious 2, got a little bit worse. Fast and Furious 3. Now they're on Fast and Furious fucking 18, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Conor's the same goddamn thing. He's Fast and Furious. The very first time he came on the scene, talking shit, everybody's like, wow, this is exciting. Everybody jumps on board. His next fight, same thing, talking shit. Next fight, same thing. It's the same fucking thing every time. For your true MMA or martial arts fan, I think most of us are sick of it.
Yeah.
We're done with it, dude. You won the game. You're a fucking millionaire. I'm sick of it, man. Like I flat out, I'm just done with it. Like it's just a bad fucking sequel. It's Fast and Furious 8. What are we gonna do? We're gonna come out and talk shit again, and then you're gonna go fight.
Well, the problem is like he tries to take his shit talking level to the next. He has to outdo himself.
Right.
That's the thing, is he can't just keep it at the same level. He has to outdo himself every time, and that's why this time I feel like he it was almost like he couldn't help himself, because the Conor McGregor character had taken things to such a level that he had no choice than to talk the shit that he did, because he had no other level to go to.
Yep.
Right? And so it's like...
and he's got to play that role.
Right.
He built that character, and he's got to play that character.
Yeah, and that character is now kind of viewed as a pariah in a lot of... To me, that was the thing that drove me the most nuts, was watching commentators and people who don't fucking understand the sport talk about what happened.
Yep.
And not understand like what a pariah McGregor's become to most of the martial arts world. They look at his antics and just shake their fucking head, and they're like, man, you are making us look bad. Really bad.
Yeah, and the press...
And we applaud the motherfucker who jumps the fence and goes flying smash into the whole fucking team, you know what I mean?
And then I saw some news stories that got that twisted too. Like they were framing it as like Khabib jumped in the crowd and was attacking fans. No. He went after Dylan Dennis.
He went after Dylan Dennis, yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, Dylan Dennis is a jiu-jitsu world champion several times over. He's a pro fighter himself in Bellator. The dude can fucking scrap. So it's not like Khabib went after some unassuming Irish guy.
And he's bigger.
Yeah, it's not like he went after some untrained drunk Irish guy.
No, he had a specific target.
He went after Dylan Dennis, who is a trained fighter that was talking shit. Do I agree with it? No. But do I care?
Did I enjoy seeing it?
Did I enjoy seeing it? Yes. and I don't even think it's that big of a fucking deal.
No.
It's really not.
The only thing
the dude's jumping in the cage.
The dude's sucker punching.
The dude's sucker punching
Jumping
Conor.
in the cage is one thing, right? Because you see Conor swinging at old boy, and because they came off the cage engaged.
Right.
Right? And then they got separated.
But
and
then the other dude
jumped in. And now if they had just jumped in, and because I was talking to Kelly about this is why I think that Khabib's overplaying his hand just a hair. Is one, the UFC isn't holding his money; it's the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Correct. So saying keep my, he's kind of blaming the wrong person there. And the sucker punch thing is hard, man.
That's bullshit. That was bullshit.
Jumping, if he would have just jumped in the cage to be like, hey, I'm here for my fucking team, and this happened, I'd be on his side 100%. You can't just kick him out for jumping in the cage when Conor started this fucking scrap. And if Conor was scrapping, right, if he was fucking busy like fighting with someone and he kind of like jumped in the fight, I can almost see that, but dude, Conor just standing there and then being
punched.
separated and
that
getting
was
sucker punched.
That was bullshit.
That's where I can't.
I'm not going to get on board.
I can't get on board with that, man.
That was straight up bullshit.
Yeah,
and you had people saying that, well, it's a different culture. You talk shit to those Dagestanis, there's going to be consequences. That's still, in my eyes, that's no excuse, because there is a lot of fighters in the UFC who came up from shit backgrounds, like they grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
Let's say you grew up in the hood in fucking Detroit or Missouri.
Well, it doesn't matter.
If you get, and a lot of those shitty upbringings, if you talk shit, you get dealt with.
Right.
But those people still act like gentlemen.
There's professionalism.
There's a professionalism.
And that's where I draw the line. Like, if you're going to be a Dagestani and it's like, hey, I'm going to punch the fuck out of you no matter what, and I'm not going to show professionalism and like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, there was just... That's to me where it's like, all right, that's where I can't... If Dana wants to fire him for that, I can't really blame him, man. Nope. You can't sucker punch other fighters. You can't sucker punch people, period.
Yeah, that dude...
You especially can't sucker punch other talent in the same fucking... We're all working for the UFC. You can't fucking sucker punch other talent. Like, there's going to be consequences to that. So
yeah, that dude should get the full extent of the law. The dude who sucker punched Conor, horseshit.
Well, yeah,
and that's fucked up.
He's the guy that's at the center of this, like, where Khabib's like, you either reinstate him,
right,
or I'm out of here. And that's where I think, like, so that's why I think Khabib, man, I'm on his side, but I think he's overplaying his hand a little bit here because, like I said, UFC's not keeping his money, so he's blaming the wrong person there. And dude, the sucker punch is hard to sell, man.
Your sucker punch is bullshit.
Not the same thing. Like, if one of Conor's teammates had thrown some shit through a bus window and he didn't get in trouble, like, Conor got in trouble for what he did.
But he didn't get in trouble. He got very little trouble for that. I'm not saying two wrongs make a right.
No,
but
I know.
What about that case? I think it was like a Bellator fight where Conor was just a spectator in the audience.
Oh, he jumped in, yeah.
He jumped in the cage and started pushing the referee around.
Right.
And I don't think there was any consequences to that. So there's a double standard there because the dude puts asses in the seats.
Yeah.
He's a fucking money
sure.
maker. There's
I'll
a
guarantee
double
you, if
standard.
Conor had jumped the fence and sucker punched somebody, he would not be fucking cut loose immediately.
Hell no.
There would be heavy suspensions and heavy fines, but there would be no way that he would just be like cut off.
No.
And so that's where, if you want to say, like, where's the double standard? It's like, can you see Conor getting the same punishment for doing what that guy did? If the answer is no, then it's like, all right, there's your double standard that we want to fucking talk about. Not like Conor's team did this and my team did that. It's like, dude, it's kind of apples and oranges here a little bit. But at the end of the day, dude, it was so gangster to go jumping into his fucking team, just fucking swinging, man.
Not even that. Fuck that. The way he whooped Conor's ass.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck all the drama beside. The way he whooped Connor's ass made me so goddamn happy.
Bad intentions behind his whole
just
performance.
Holding him down, beating the fuck out of him. And I love the fact that after that round, Conor was like, "Hey man, I was just playing." Just business. And you can hear the tone in his voice.
Yeah,
he knew that he was outmatched. He knew he didn't have any fucking answers for what Khabib was doing to him.
Yeah,
and he felt like a child. Just
you heard. I'm sure you probably listened to John Kavanaugh on Joe Rogan, and they basically, like, I don't know. Again, I can kind of see what he's saying with the strategy, but their strategy basically was, we know Khabib's going to take us down.
Yeah.
We know I have no fucking answer.
We're not going to be able to stop this.
My only hope is to try to survive the first 3 rounds so that he gets a little tired, so that maybe I can catch him.
So I can stuff the takedown easier.
And catch him.
Yep.
And that was the whole strategy. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. That's not a fucking...
Khabib's a destroyer, man.
Dude, I love that dude.
And in all politics aside, obviously I'm not a communist. Obviously I don't support that. I'm sure you've seen all the conspiracy shit about like where Khabib's taking money from this Russian billionaire.
Oh, I'm sure.
And a lot of people are on this conspiracy train because there's pictures of Khabib sitting in Putin's office getting congratulated by Putin.
Yeah.
He's got ties with
You don't tell $2 million to fuck off unless somebody
you got ties with
taking care of you a little bit.
That Chechen dictator. Yeah. But that's what a lot of people do. In my eyes, there's no conspiracy there. Communist dictators have been doing this for fucking years. Hitler did it with that boxer, Max Schmeling, I think his name was back in the day.
Yeah.
We all know the game communists play. They these leaders like to give themselves a good public image. That's why they control their media all the time. And so that's all it is.
Rocky IV, baby.
Yeah, Rocky IV.
It's what it's...
But look how much time Putin spent with Fedor when Fedor was on top. Look at that Chechen dictator dude. I'm not even trying to pronounce his last name. But he's had they love combat sports and they try to put the public image out there as being a better person than they are. He's had Mike Tyson out hanging out with him. He's had Floyd Mayweather hanging out with him. Like, it's all just it's what these guys do.
Yeah.
There's no fucking conspiracy there, man. Dude, Khabib grew up in the mountains of Dagestan. He loves fucking people up. And he just happens to live in a goddamn communist country,
That's
man.
what I was saying, dude. He got home and some fucking billionaire came up and slipped him a check for a couple $1 million and said, dude, here you go,
Keep
man.
training.
Good job. Don't worry about those motherfuckers over there.
Yep.
And good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Like I said, I'm not supporting that politics, but that's just what happens in the country, man.
Well, that's what's happened throughout all fucking time, man. Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah,
people are just searching for shit.
Yeah. So. Whatever, man. So...
Anyways,
right, now we got to wrap it. We got to go to Grumpy Guy Fit. We got Jamie Canuto seminar and got to learn some good shit there. And yeah.
Fuck yeah. Let's call that
all right. Let's do it.
See you
guys.